Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the Super Sentai Iceberg. Just the first layer though, because realistically talking, it's easier for me to separate all of the layers and make their own individual videos, because that's just free content. We're going to be basing the iceberg off of this one here from Reddit, and I do have to warn you, most of the Super Sentai ones on Reddit are complete arse, so I am going to add a few things in myself, because why not? If you see any green text on your screen before a certain entry, that means I've added it myself. This layer may not be the most exciting, but just fucking deal with it, okay? Some of these entries will be pretty boring and pretty self-explanatory, so... I mean, it's easy content for me at the end of the day, actually, so I don't know why I'm complaining. Anyway, enough waffling from me, let's just get into it. Power Rangers source material. If we're being completely honest with ourselves here, everybody knows exactly what this entry is referring to, but in case if you don't, Super Sentai is basically what came before Power Rangers. It started in 1975 in Japan with Himitsu Sentai Go Ranger, and then footage from Kyoryu Sentai Ju Ranger in 1992 was used as the basis for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Although this wasn't actually the first time they tried to do this exact thing, they tried to adapt Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan, and by they, I mean Marvel. And then Haim Saban tried to adapt Shodenshi Bioman, made a pilot, and everybody he showed it to hated it so fucking much that he hid it away in a vault. And then a few other things happened, and we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and we've just so happened to adapt it pretty much every single season since. We've left a few out, but that's literally because Saban hates us. Hikonin Sentai Akiba Ranger. This is an unofficial Sentai parody that was given 2 seasons and was written by Narahisa Arakawa. That's basically it. It follows this absolutely disgusting, raving virgin as he tries desperately to become a part of a Sentai, and in doing so, he becomes a part of an unofficial Sentai. And yeah, it's basically what would happen if you gave a bunch of Toei executives weed and said, fuck it, make a show for us. You know, Go Busters isn't making any money, so just make a parody and go off the walls with it. Cancellation rumours. This entry refers to how most people on the Super Sentai subreddit will ask the question of, hey, is this year's Sentai the last Sentai? To which people have to remind them that as long as the toy sales and the viewership figures are up, Sentai probably isn't going to get cancelled anytime soon. There have been instances in the past where Sentai was one season away from being cancelled, looking at you, 5-man, but was then later saved, which is something we'll get into later. It happened most recently with Avataro Sentai Dawn Brothers in 2022, where fans began arguing that this would be the last Sentai season, especially after Zenkaiger absolutely bombed in the toy sale department. But hey, we're still going strong, and hopefully we can make it to Anniversary 100. Jetman saved the franchise. Jetman, written by Toshiki Inoue, is the 15th Super Sentai season, and it was written as the last series in the entire franchise after Hirohisa Soda, another rather infamous writer, had basically hit burnout during 1989's Kokuso Sentai Turbo Ranger. He, in his own words, writ Chikyu Sentai 5-man in 1999 with an awful lot of scars and wounds, which is probably referring to the fact that he was in no state to actually write the show. Jetman was different because kids didn't actually like it that much, contrary to popular belief, and it was teenagers and adults who actually pushed the viewership sales up. Also, the toys needed to be on point because Japan was going through an economical recession at the time, and 5-man's toy line is pretty infamous for being really low quality. With the increased toy sales, the love triangle story that hadn't been done before in Sentai, and the big fat increase in viewership, Sentai was given another go with Ju Ranger, which also started off with a decline in the ratings almost straight away. Do you want to take a guess at how they fixed that decline? Ending themes and dances. This is a part of a campaign that's set to get kids off their asses on a Saturday morning and dance along with their favourite Sentai heroes. It's also the main thing that probably distinguishes Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, as Kamen Rider only has a few ending themes and only one dance. For some reason, the endings to Sentais are really catchy, like Time Rangers. Please listen to that if you haven't. But some seasons straight up just don't have ending themes at all, like Lupin Ranger vs. Pata Ranger, whilst others, like Time Ranger and Gao Ranger, have endings but no actual dances to go along with them. Others have ridiculous dances, like Kaka Ranger, and others have more tame dances, like Chuoja, that a kid could easily do. Also, don't ask me how the fuck a child is supposed to perform the Go Wanja dance, because I'm 16 and I literally can't do a single move. How the fuck is a child supposed to do this? There's also the rather infamous Superhero Getter, which is something that was produced by Project R for the 35th anniversary. And it's basically like a rap thing that, like, lists all the Sentai teams and their, like, tropes. But very clearly, they couldn't think of anything notable to say about Go Ranger that didn't involve calling the villains Nazis, so they just said something along the lines of, oh, the five of them assembled our Go Ranger. That's not actually confirmed, that's just something I find really funny. Jaka and Go Ranger status as Sentai. This entry refers to a widely believed myth in the Sentai community that Jaka and Go Ranger weren't originally ever a part of Super Sentai until the 25th anniversary in O Ranger. But the issue is it's not true, and it's been debunked for like 5 years at this point, and people still believe it. Basically, long story short, people thought this because in Turbo Ranger's anniversary episode, they called Battle Fever J the first great Sentai. But what actually happened here was Go Ranger and Jaka were produced by Shotaro Ishinomori and his production company, Ishinomori Productions, which meant that they were under a different trademark label, which also thus meant that when Turbo Ranger came out, it's likely that behind the scenes, Toei and Ishinomori Productions got into a bit of a squabble. But then by the time O Ranger rolled around, they were allowed to use Go Ranger and Jaka formally, mainly because Shotaro Ishinomori was dying from cancer. Anyway, that is layer 1 of the Super Sentai Iceberg, explained probably quite poorly, but hey, it's fine. I should be back next week with the second layer, and as we go on, I'm gradually going to add more stuff because, trust me, these icebergs get progressively worse as they go on. So I'm going to try and add a lot more stuff, and I forgot to credit the actual user who made these icebergs. He's called user/Dark Advent on Reddit, so you can check his account out if you want, and with that being said, I shall see you next time.